taking the lead in bringing to television the most complete worldwide motorcycle racing coverage. From Malaysia to Spain on the World Grand Prix Tour, and from Miami to Seattle with the American Motorcyclist Association Road Racing Series. Don't miss a thrilling minute as Prime Network brings you motorcycle racing like nobody else. Next on Motorcycle Madness.
Welcome to New Hampshire, part of that magnificent area of the United States of America known as New England. A beautiful coastline and an inland made up of magnificent scenery with trees and lakes just all around. For an Englishman, it's just like home. This is Chris Carter for Prime Network. And once again, I'm taking a weekend off the Grand Prix Trail in Europe to visit the splendid, rebuilt New Hampshire International Speedway, venue of the Loudon Classic weekend. The new owners, the Bear family, Father Bob and son Gary, the president of this redesigned and remodeled racetrack, have done a superb job here. And the racing promises to be once again simply top class. The racing, like the weather, likely to be red hot. So let's join Ralph Shaheen down in the pits.
To motorcycle road racing fans around the world, the name Ducati tends to quicken the beat of your heart a little bit. And if that doesn't do it, one look at these beautiful red machines will certainly make your heart beat just a little bit faster. Hello, everybody. I'm Ralph Shaheen, and welcome to Prime Network's coverage of the AMA Superbike Challenge Series. It's all coming to you this week from the oldest motorcycle road race in the country, the 69th annual Loudon Camel Classic, and it's coming up next right here on Prime Network.
No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get her last words out of my head. As I came over the ridge, I kicked it into fifth. And suddenly, I couldn't hear a word she said.
a perfectly adequate motorcycle, maximize power throughout its entire RPM range, and create a new definition of time as we know it. Why? Because you can.
Want to be is on a Kawasaki jet ski watercraft, then head to your nearest dealer for Kawasaki's sizzling summer deals. Factory to dealer incentives make this summer the hottest ever to pick up a Kawasaki jet ski watercraft. We're talking up to $400 off on selected models. But you better hurry, as these special incentives are only good for a limited time. Call for the dealer nearest you and dive into the summer with your best deal on the water's best ride.
Hi, I'm Freddie Spencer. My job is going fast on the racetrack, but if the fastest I ever went was 65 on the interstate, I'd still be a member of the AMA. They're the ones who are out there protecting our right to ride from politicians and bureaucrats who love to tell us what to do. They also put out a magazine, sanction events, and sponsor discount programs, and there's more. Call 800-AMA-JOIN and find out all about it. Well, back to work.
Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.
Welcome back to Prime Network and the AMA National Championship Road Races here at the New Hampshire International Speedway and the Loudon Classic. Well, one man missing from today's action is Texan Doug Poland. Winner of the last round of the AMA Superbike Championship Series at Brainerd, Minnesota, the reigning Superbike World Champion is in Italy as part of his defense of that hard-earned world title. Poland missing this event because of other commitments, but another star of the AMA National Championships, Kenny Roberts Jr., is out of the hunt for 250cc points because of a crash in practice. A battered Kenny reflects on the accident, and Dennis Torres spoke to him about the crash.
The road rash on the fiberglass tells the story. The number 25 machine of Kenny Roberts Jr., one of the championship contenders of the AMA 250 Grand Prix class, will not be participating in this afternoon's 250 final. The reason? Let's talk to the man himself. Now, this effectively puts you out of the championship. First of all, talk about your injuries, number one, and number two, when do we expect you back?
Well, I don't know about being out of the championship. Anything can happen. There's 4 races left. It's 83 to 82, Colin's favor. You know, he's not doing so good today. He's not really, he doesn't really like this track. And, you know, it just takes a fall for him, and we're right back in it, or a mechanical failure, or, you know, anything can happen. And, you know, it's going to take me till mid-Ohio, and I'll be ready to race by then for sure. It's going to take about 2 or 3 weeks for this collarbone to heal, and I'll just start riding at the ranch, and we'll be back even better. You know, my dad said when he used to crash, he used to go even faster, and so far everything that I've done has been the same that he's done, so we'll see what goes on.
So Roberts out of the hunt. But let's rejoin Ralph Shaheen down in the pits, joined by Cycle News Associate Editor Paul Carruthers, to look at how the form guide looks now.
Joining me once again today is Paul Carruthers, a road racing editor of Cycle News Magazine. We've got one of the Ducatis here. Doug Poland not with us. Is that going to hinder the Fast by Faraci effort?
Well, anytime you don't have Doug Poland, it hurts your effort a little bit. But I think they've got an adequate replacement in Pascal Picotte. He's put the bike on the front row here at Loudon, and I think you're going to see him win one of these days. Whether or not it's here, I can't say for sure, but I'd watch Pascal.
Now, don't forget, we have a unique format to today's running of the 69th Annual Camel Classic here at Loudon. Is that going to hurt Pascal's effort?
I think Pascal and the Ducati would have been better off if they would have ran the entire 100 miles as one race rather than split it into 2, because there was a possibility that he could have just kept going and going and going while the other guys maybe would have had to pit and so on. So yeah, I would say it might set him back a little bit as far as having 2 races, but I mean, he can run with them.
The reason why Doug Poland not here, he is competing in Spain in the World Superbike Series this weekend, and we've also lost one of the 250 riders, Kenny Roberts Jr., taking a fall earlier in the week.
Yeah, that's a real shame to lose little Kenny, because he was starting to go so well, and he'd put together a string of second-place finishes, and I think his first win was just around the corner, and now we've lost him at least for a couple of weeks. I think that's going to make Colin Edwards' life a little easier, but I think at this racetrack he's going to have problems from his teammate Chris DeLucio. We'll just have to wait and see. I wouldn't count Jimmy Felice out either. I know he's got his bike back together the way he wants it, and he could be like he was at Laguna Seca.
The 69th running of the Camel Classic here at Loudon, one of the greatest and definitely the oldest motorcycle events here in America.
Thursday on the Olympics Triplecast, call your local cable operator to order an Olympic day you'll never forget. Your front row for the decathlon. It's Dave's big day. Then it's uninterrupted ringside boxing and the best women's volleyball. And there's courtside tennis and the grace and beauty of rhythmic gymnastics. Then it's non-stop coverage of the Dream Team's quest for glory. Go to the mats for wrestling gold, poolside for synchronized swimming and water polo.
Order Thursday's Triplecast, now only $17.50.
August sizzles with drama on cable. In 1934, a bright young inventor may have changed the world.
It uses water as its only fuel.
But his story was never heard. TNT premieres The Water Engine, plus the controversial movie from the streets of L.A. on HBO.
I want to do something with my life, right?
Boys in the Hood. Also on HBO, Harrison Ford stars in Regarding Henry this month.
On Austin Cablevision.
Free back-to-back home runs.
Golf's greatest from around the world. Take aim on Europe's most challenging courses. The European Tour. The Scandinavian Masters. Saturday at 1 on HSE.
Welcome back to Prime Network and the AMA National Championship Road Race Series at the New Hampshire International Speedway. On the grid then, competitors for the 69th running of the Loudon Classic. Jamie James in pole position on the Vance & Hines Yamaha. Next to him, Scott Russell on the Muzzy Kawasaki. Freddie Spencer, one of the legends of the road racing games, on the Two Brothers RC30 Honda. French-Canadian Pascal Picot leading the onslaught for the Fastby Ferrari Ducati team. Larry Schwarzbach, the teammate to Jamie James on the Vance & Hines Yamaha. And young Tomkin on the Commonwealth Racing Camel Honda. Thomas Stevens, the reigning AMA Superbike champion, on the second Muzzy Kawasaki. And this is how they line up. Jamie James on the Yamaha. Scott Russell on the Kawasaki. Freddie Spencer on the Honda. Pascal Picot on a Ducati. Row 2, Mike Smith out of action. He's broken his leg in an earlier race. Larry Schwarzbach on the Yamaha, Tom Kipp on the Honda, Thomas Stevens on the Kawasaki, Dale Quarterly on the Kawasaki, Britt Turkington on the Suzuki, Christian Gardner on the Yamaha, and Phil Kress on the Kawasaki make up row 3. This will be a 31-leg section of the complete race. Then there'll be a 30-minute break for the riders to make changes, alterations and adjustments to the bike. And off they'll go on the second leg, all eager to get away, and wheelies from most of the front row of the grid. A good start from Freddie Spencer, Fast Freddy living up to his name, getting away well, but it's Russell, Scott Russell from Spencer, Pascal Picot going well, up to the front as well. Well, Freddie Spencer, lightning reactions, and a problem there for number 26, looking down at the bike, James Adamo, the man from Glen Cove, New York, in trouble with his Ducati, but no problem for the Kawasaki man out front. Then Spencer, then Pascal Picot. Then it's Thomas Stevens. Russell through the downhill switchback. Beautiful circuit, a mixture of infield twists and turns, and then the high-speed banking of the Speedway circuit here at New Hampshire. What a great start for Russell, but look at that, Freddie Spencer so keen to move on, perhaps to get back into World Championship competition on the Two Brothers Honda, then Pascal Picot, then Thomas Stevens. There's Larry Schwarzbach, number 64, making up for a rather sluggish start, high on the wall along the start and finish straight. Russell still setting the pace. The man from Georgia, now living in California. And there's the man who I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye take a tumble on the first corner, Bob Sandy on the Kawasaki, out of the race. But here's fast Freddie Spencer from Shreveport, Louisiana, on the Two Brothers Racing Honda. Third, Pascal Picot, then Thomas Stevens, then Jamie James. Russell the leader, though. riding superbly, but remember, it was Jamie James who was quickest in practice, going around here quicker than the official lap record set by this man, Scott Russell, last year when he won in absolutely superb form and style in 1991. So Russell, the race leader, out in front, but hard on his tail is Freddie Spencer. Can Russell stay in front? Join us after the break.
They've won more road races than any production motorcycle in recent history. But taking Suzuki GSXRs off the track and putting them on the street requires certain modifications. The new Suzuki GSXR 600, now available for home use.
Growing up in East Texas, just about everything we ate started out in the smokehouse. Like my Earl Camp East Texas smoked sausage. Whether it's links or rings, your family is going to love that East Texas smokehouse flavor, especially when you baste them in my famous all-purpose sauce. So go to your store and tell them Earl sent you for the taste of Texas. Earl Campbell's East Texas style smoked sausage and my famous sauce.
Welcome back to Prime Network and the Loudon Classic at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Scott Russell leading on lap 18 of this first 31-lap segment. And there is Jamie James now in third spot. Jamie James on the Vance and Hines Yamaha, the man from Prairieville in Louisiana. Behind him, Pascal Picard on the Fast by Ferrari Ducati, and pushing him very hard indeed, Larry Schwarzbach on the second of the Vance and Hines Yamaha. So Jamie James, who was quickest in practice, down in third place, struggling to show the sort of form that gave him pole position on the grid. Pit boards along the front of the pit area there, and Jamie James content at the moment, at any rate, to be third. And Schwarzbach now has gone ahead of Pascal Picard, so Schwarzbach goes into fourth place. So Kawasaki leads Honda with Yamaha third and fourth. And this man, Scott Russell, who has led right from the off in very, very commanding form. No problems at all. Freddie Spencer a fair way back. Scott Russell, though, keen to win this one because up for grabs $5,000 for the Camel Halfway Challenge. And those greenbacks will go very nicely into Mr. Russell's bank account. Freddie Spencer about to put a couple of riders a lap down, 96 Craig Gleason and 58 Pablo Real. So Spencer still holding number 2 spot. And the problem here for David Sadowski on the Yoshimura Suzuki, and it's the end of the road for David in this particular segment at any rate. There's Spencer on the Honda in second place. He's got past Craig Gleason now, number 96. 58, Pablo Real, also a lap down. Then it's Jamie James, and right behind him now, number 64, Larry Schwarzbach. So the Vance and Hines teammates together, no team orders. James under pressure from teammate Schwarzbach, but James getting quicker in every round of this Superbike series. Dennis Torres spoke to him earlier.
For former Superbike champion Jamie James, the 1992 season has been a steady climb towards the front. A breakthrough win at Charlotte, a hard-fought second place at Brainerd, and now Jamie James pole position for the 69th Loudon Classic. A lot of high hopes for today.
Well, it really feels good. You know, my team's been working real hard, and I've been working hard, and things are finally starting to come together for us. We've been patient and just plugging away at it, and finally we've come up with something, and the bike's working well, and we're managed to put it on the pole.
Specifically, can you tell us exactly what's going on with the motorcycle, and what did you find that helped you go a little bit faster each weekend?
Well, it was just basically fine-tuning the suspension and getting the engine to where it was a little bit better mid-range power, where it didn't hit so hard, and made the bike more drivable, and the suspension helped that too. So we've just kind of come up with a few things in the last month, you know, that just added and added and made the bike better and better, and gave me confidence, and
I've been able to ride better, too.
Jamie James obviously finding it easier to ride the Vance and Hines machine. The man who must take most of the credit for that is Chief Mechanic Jim Leonard. Dennis Torres spoke with him earlier.
Now, he'll tell you the #1 factor in having a successful program is a top rider. But right behind that is the engine. And the man who handles the engine building chores here at Vance and Hines is Jim Leonard. What do you do? How many man hours? What do you do to each engine? What do you highlight? What do you look for? Is it a complete teardown? Tell me the plan from A to B.
Well, during the middle of the season like this, each guy will be working probably at least 60 hours a week. We'll get back, tear each engine apart, completely rebuild them, spend probably half a day in the dyno with each one, sometimes more. Super sport stuff's a little bit easier because the rules limit what you can do. The Superbike is our main focus. It takes a lot of time.
Over the course of a year, how many engines would you say you have taken down to scratch, down to the block or to the bottom end, and built back up again?
Probably between 20 and 25.
And there is the race leader, Scott Russell, out in front, heading for victory on the Muzzy Kawasaki. Jamie James in 3rd place, Larry Schwarzbach in 4th spot. Schwarzbach trying very hard indeed to catch his teammate. The rest of this race and all the second leg still to come here on Prime Network. Join us again after the break.
The Yamaha Seika 2 600. Very cool, very hot, and very, very affordable. What else is there?
Unforgiven. Critics call it a great Western. One of the year's best films. Joel Siegel, Good Morning America. Classic, majestic, passionate. Richard Corliss, Time Magazine. Stunning, powerful. David Anson, Newsweek. Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, Richard Harris. Unforgiven.
You just shot an unarmed man.
Well, he should have harmed himself.
Rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Hey kids, ever dreamed of being a big league sports announcer? Well, here's your chance in the Anvil You Call the Game contest. Just record a 2-minute audio tape announcing play-by-play action of a Texas Rangers game. And if chosen, you, a parent, and 2 family members will win a trip to spring training camp with the Texas Rangers in Port Charlotte, Florida. Mail a postcard with your name, address, phone, and social security numbers to Anvil You Call the Game contest, care of HSE. Entries must be postmarked by midnight, September 12th, so enter today.
Automatics, foreign cars, domestic cars, 4x4s, even emergency vehicles. People bring their transmission problems to AMCO centers because they have the experience to tell the small problems from the big ones without mistaking one for the other. So no matter what you drive, if it's a transmission problem, bring it to the people who know transmissions. AMCO, AA, MCO.
Welcome back to Prime Network and the AMA National Championship Road Races at New Hampshire International Speedway. Scott Russell running away with the first part of the Loudon Classic over 31 laps. But behind, it's turning into quite a scrap. Russell now carving his way past some of the slower men, putting them a lap down. 56, that's Dean Misdal. 63, Angelo Nicholas. And Russell, the race leader, behind him, 81, Benoit Pilon, and 26, James Adamo, who we saw having trouble with the Ducati a little bit earlier. Misdal still ahead of Russell, but about to be pounced on by the man from Georgia. So Russell now with just a few laps to go. Going to be careful here, doesn't want to make any mistakes. But it's so easy to come unstuck when you're getting past these slow riders. They've of course got no wing mirrors on their motorcycles, and Russell just cuts on the inside and blasts the Muzzy Kawasaki along the straight to go into the safe area ahead of the slightly slower man. No disgrace to be lapped by Scott Russell. Here's a second man, Freddie Spencer, number 19 on the Two Brothers Racing Honda. The Two Brothers Racing team being one of two supported by Honda America. And this is the other one, the Commonwealth Camel Racing team. Tom Kipp here in 6th place and on the charge. And a little bit further back, another group. There's Thomas Stevens just behind Craig Gleason. Then is 58 Pablo Real, Michael Taylor, the Canadian, and right behind him, the lanky figure of Dale Quarterly on another Kawasaki. And Quarterly just nips ahead of the Canadian, moves another place up. Bottom end of the top 10, those guys, and looking for a good result. This man right at the very top. Well, Scott Russell has been running away from the pack on the latest 750 Kawasaki from out of the Rob Muzzy stable. But superbikes weren't always like this. Dean Adams, a journalist with the Road Racing World, has built an exact replica of the 1000cc Kawasaki Superbike Eddie Lawson raced to the title in 1982. Dean and Scott Russell's longtime mechanic, Gary Medley, compared notes.
Compared to today's bike, it's a tremendous difference. Fork size, displacement engine, weight, and handling, I think, is one of the major things from the 1000cc bike to the 750, I think, today.
What were we looking at for differences between the two bikes? I think you measured them before we did this.
There's about 10 inches difference in wheelbase.
Right, we got a big 19-inch front on the replica there, on the Eddie Lawson replica. What is it on Scott's?
We run 17-inch front and 17-inch rear. I think the S model was, we ran 18 on front and rear.
Yeah.
But rim width was, I think we ran a 4-inch rear and I think it was a 3-inch front, where today you run from 17 by 3.5 to 3 3/4, and actually some bikes we've tested in Japan, we've ran a 4-inch front.
Yeah.
And today's rear compared to a 4-inch that we used to run on the old S model, and now we're running a 6.5, 6 1/4.
So to simplify things, the rear tire on the back of the street bike is probably narrower than the front wheel on Scott's Superbike.
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Easily.
Yeah. What do you say, Gary? You want to swap these two even up?
I think that'd be tough for Scott.
You don't think he'd go for that?
I don't think he'd go for that today.
Well, Scott Russell doesn't really need the old bike. The new one's good enough for the job. And Russell with just 2 laps to go to the checkered flag in this first segment. He really has looked in absolutely unbeatable form. Russell then heading for the checkered flag and $5,000. Then he's got all this to do again. Russell, though, a very fit young man, just 27 years of age. Started off as a schoolboy motocrosser. And this man was very much a schoolboy dirt track rider. Freddie Spencer in 2nd place. Russell, though, heading for victory. Almost the same classic racing line, lap after lap. Very neat, stylish rider. And he used to keep those long legs out of the way of trouble. And Russell showing the rest of the field how to do it, at least in this part of the race. The 69th running of the Loudon Classic. Russell then makes an attempt at a big wheelie as he goes over the line. The checkered flag goes out, and victory in part 1 to Scott Russell. James 2nd, Schwarzbach 3rd, Picot 4th. Still to come, the second part of the Superbikes and the 250s. Join us again after the break.
Why would anyone want to modify the speed and performance of a perfectly adequate motorcycle, maximize power throughout its entire RPM range, and create a new definition of time as we know it? Why? Because you can.
Our engine, we accelerate from the starting line from a dead stop to 60 miles an hour in less than a second. We're at 100 miles an hour in less than 2 seconds. So you can understand the importance of me having Pennzoil in my engine. The more demands that we make on our engine, the more demands we make on our motor oil. Pennzoil's never let us down in any way. I don't know that I could possibly think of any other motor oil other than Pennzoil that I'd want in the engine. And as a racer, I need that winning edge. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality. That says it all.
Welcome back to Prime Network and the AMA National Championship Road Races at the New Hampshire International Speedway. The competitors then getting ready for the second part of the 69th running of the Loudon Classic. And Scott Russell, Jamie James, Larry Schwarzbach, Pascal Picot on the front row of the grid as they finished in the first 31-lap running. And David Sadowski talking to Britt Turkington. Sadowski out on the Yoshimura Suzuki. Turkington will be running. And Mike Velasco has a quick look at Freddie Spencer's RC30 Honda. There they are on the grid, and umbrellas not just for riders, but for bikes as well. Scott Russell looking cool and unruffled. And Jamie James's bike being wheeled onto the front row of the grid. Jamie James, the man who speaks slow and rides real quick. There he is on the front row of the grid. 32 laps. This second segment, all eyes on the traffic light start. And Jamie James gets a flyer. A really good start from James. He's on the charge, made the whole shot off the line. Wheel to wheel with Dale Quarterly. Quarterly, another man from the south, from Georgia. Oh, and a lot of pushing and shoving, and a very, very lucky escape there for number 30. That was Lindley Clark, the Canadian. He had a real moment there, almost knocked off the bike. Jamie James leads. Scott Russell, Dale Quarterly in third place, but about to lose another spot. But what a lucky let-off for number 30, Lindley Clark. Absolutely amazing. Jamie James out in front. Scott Russell in second spot. James, the man who was quickest of all in practice. And this is the race, this is the segment where championship points and prize money are up for grabs. Larry Schwarzbach in third place. So Scott Russell, the filling in the sandwich of the Manson Hines machines. Dow Quarterly on the Team Mirage Kawasaki going well. Tom Kipp right behind him on the Commonwealth Racing Honda. Jamie James setting the pace. Jamie James, 31, the oldest man in the AMA Superbike Brigade. But still as quick, if not quicker than the rest. There's Quarterly, there's Sir Freddie Spencer, Tom Kipp up there as well, number 34, Pascal Picot. He's got an awful lot of work to do. And Russell now beginning to close just a little nearer the rear wheel of Jamie James. Larry Schwarzbach tucked in behind the Kawasaki man. So Jamie James, who has been AMA Superbike champion, out in front. Scott Russell looking for the title. James, runner-up last year. Jamie James, champion in '89. And now he's got Scott Russell seriously breathing down his neck, and Larry Schwarzbach trying to stay on the pace of the leading duo. And down the hill they come. James leads, but Russell just launches the green Kawasaki and closes right up on the rear tyre. Banked hard over, sweeping left-handed all the way, then turning onto the right-hander as they get to the crest of the hill. Then they sweep downhill again. It really is a wonderful panoramic circuit here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Very testing indeed for men and machines. And Jamie James at the moment, despite his advanced years, you might say, almost flicked off. He hits a bit of a rough spot there, and Jamie James hanging on to the lead by the skin of his teeth. Russell poised to pounce. And they are just edging away slightly from Larry Schwarzbach. Behind, it's Freddie Spencer in fourth position. And Russell, who did the early rounds of the World Superbike Championship, getting better and better every season of racing. Again, look, he just closes on the rear wheel of the man who leads this race. Russell looking so good. He won the first race convincingly, but Jamie James giving him a real fight in race 2. It's the South, the deep South, leading this race in every respect. Jamie James from Louisiana and Scott Russell from Georgia, now living in California though. Yamaha leads Kawasaki. How much longer can Russell stay behind? He'll be determined, not yet desperate, but determined to get ahead. And Freddie Spencer also now closing on Larry Schwarzbach behind. There's the gap and there's the battle for third place. Number 19, Spencer. 16 is Tom Kipp. Number 1, Thomas Stevens, the reigning champion. On the second, Muzzy Kawasaki is just a little bit further back. So this could turn into a bit of a Superbike convoy. We've seen that so many times. These big 4 strokes producing sensational racing. Very, very equal performance. And Spencer now very close to Schwarzbach. James and Russell battle for the lead behind Schwarzbach and Spencer. Scrap it out for third place. And all the time they're getting closer and closer. Tom Kipp will be joining them soon, perhaps, I suspect. The young man from Ohio. And Jamie James with almost a comfortable lead, perhaps 2 machines length. But again, Russell closes it up to less than 1 bike's length. Still, James refuses to give way. Schwarzbach under a lot of pressure from Freddie Spencer, who is riding very hard indeed. Freddie Spencer, I know, would like to get back into the 500 World Championship chase. First, he wants to win the AM8 Superbike title. And Tom Kipp, first year with the Commonwealth Camel Hondas, closing in 5th place. Over the hill they go again, and again, Russell, he just almost launches it like a rocket over the brow of that hill. There's Schwarzbach, Spencer right behind him. Nothing in it at all. Freddie Spencer now 30 years of age. Schwarzbach 27, and in his first season of Superbike racing, Freddie's been at it years. Jamie James and Russell out in front, they're experienced men too. They know what it's all about. Jamie James leading then. Scott Russell, a tremendous race. More to come. Join us after the break.
Introducing the last pair of sunglasses you'll ever need. Sunblockers, the stylish, lightweight sunglasses which block harmful UV light.
I really like the color it does. Cut the glare down.
Clear, crisp.
What would you expect to pay for these high-quality sunglasses?
Oh, at least 50 bucks.
You've seen similar sunglasses advertised on national television for $49.95. But now, you can get sunblockers for just $29.95. Sunblockers also come with a lifetime replacement warranty. Even if you break them or lose them, send in the loss form for a free replacement, no questions asked. For limited time only, order 1 pair of sunblockers and receive a 2nd pair of sunblockers absolutely free. That's right, order 1 pair of sunblockers for the incredible price of only $29.95 plus shipping and handling, and we'll give you a 2nd pair free. Call the toll-free number on your screen now, or send check or money order to Sunblockers at the address shown. Sunblockers come with a 30-day money-back guarantee and a lifetime replacement warranty. Call the toll-free number now.
Coming up next on Chevy Motorsports Hour, Audi, Mercedes, Opel, and BMW battle and brew. Coverage of the German Touring Car Championship is next.
Welcome back to Prime Network. This is the New Hampshire International Speedway, and we're in the 69th running of the Loudon Classic. 64, Larry Schwarzbach in 3rd place. Leading number 2, Jamie James. Behind him, Scott Russell. 64, Larry Schwarzbach. Number 19, Freddie Spencer in pursuit. And the back end of Spencer's Honda steps out in protest, does it again. Spencer just really winding up the wick on the charge, trying to get through to 3rd place, trying to pass this man. 64, Larry Schwarzbach. Spencer 4th. And Tom Kipp in those distinctive yellow leathers in 5th place. James still holding off Russell. Schwarzbach, Spencer and Kipp, they're together. It's going to turn into a 5-rider convoy. And Schwarzbach really riding superbly. This, remember, his first season of full Superbike competition. Jamie James, Scott Russell, Schwarzbach, Freddie Spencer. And we shall surely see a glimpse of Tom Kipp. Oh, and Russell makes a big mistake, going in far too quick, but he hangs on to second spot. A rare mistake there for Scott Russell, ran hopelessly wide, but he was able to recover before Schwarzbach and Spencer could dive through on the inside. And there is Tom Kipp in fifth place, and that would have allowed Kipp and the others to close on Russell. And Jamie James, in turn, was able to stretch just a few more yards advantage over his big rival. And they are closing up together. 5 riders, nose to tail now. Any one of these 5 could win. Jamie James, Scott Russell, Larry Schwarzbach, Freddie Spencer and Tom Kipp. And the manufacturers, all of them there, represented in that leading group. Schwarzbach still holding off Spencer, and that is a fine performance. Russell then still looking for a way past Schwarzbach, holding off Spencer. Tom Kipp now having caught them, looking good, and Russell goes through. Oh, timed beautifully, just forced Jamie James out, and Russell almost came off. I don't know whether Jamie James clipped him or whether he hit a rough patch of tarmac, but that was a dramatic moment. Jamie James dives back for the inside, and Scott Russell goes right across his front wheel. While these two guys, no quarter asked or given, they are taking no prisoners. And Scott Russell has done what he wanted to do. The crowd whoop and cheer, and Scott Russell now leads the second race too. But the front 5 still absolutely together. A Carter-sized blanket could cover them all. Schwarzbach still riding superbly, but look at that, Spencer showing his front wheel one side and then the other, trying to force the youngster into making a mistake and letting him through. And smoke coming from the exhaust of the Commonwealth Racing Honda of Tom Kipp. I hope that's not a problem for him. He did well to catch this quartet at the front of the field. Oh, and a mistake now for Jamie James, almost identical to the one that Scott Russell did earlier. And that will have allowed Scott Russell just to pull away slightly from the chasing pack. Scott Russell hard on the brakes. Well, Scott Russell, a busy man in the racing game. Dennis Torres asked Scott what his commitments are now.
Scott, let's talk about the season thus far. It was pretty ambitious at the start. You were going to run some World Superbike, AMA Superbike, and in a few weeks you have the prestigious 8 Hours of Suzuka. How difficult is it to be totally focused on this AMA Superbike Championship?
It's not too difficult. You know, this is a priority in our season. So, you know, for me, I have to be in tune and focused with it. You know, that's my job, and I want to win the title really bad. I've been close 3 years, and I want to win it this time. So it gets hectic. You know, I want to do World Superbike, and I'm looking forward to the 8 hour, but in the back of my mind, I have to concentrate on this one the most.
And back with the racing action, Scott Russell then concentrating on winning the AMA Superbike title and doing well. Out in front, pulling away, as you can see, already carving his way past some of the slower men, putting them a lap down and on the charge to the checkered flag. Oh, and Tom Kipp was committed to the racing line. Larry Schwarzbach, though, was determined not to give way, and Schwarzbach within a whisker of crashing. A nasty, dramatic moment there for the Vance & Hines man, but he drops a place. Scott Russell then out in front. It will be Jamie James in second spot, Freddie Spencer third, Tom Kipp up into fourth place, and Larry Schwarzbach back into fifth spot after that near accident. Russell, just the knee just dabbing down as a guide to know just how far he needs to bank over the Muzzy Kawasaki. And Russell again carving his way past some slower riders. Pablo Real and Angelus Nichols. Oh, and here's a quieter group, and it's been a bit of a shuffle further back. 96 Craig Gleason, then Jamie James number 2. He's second. Lindy Clark a lap down. Pascal Picot on the Ducati moving up into third place. Behind him, Freddie Spencer. Eric Moe, number 57, he's a lap down as well. Well, the lesser mortals being caught out. Pascal Picot, though, motoring up from a very sluggish start, and he's now got Jamie James in second place ahead of him. There he is, number 34, Freddie Spencer, number 19, in fourth position. And out in front, running out on his own is Scott Russell. Jamie James, then Pascal Picot. Freddie Spencer pushed down to fourth. Can he get back to third? Join us after the break to find out.
To some, the world just looks better from a different angle. For those select few, Honda built the CBR 900RR, CBR 600F2, and VFR 750F. Enjoy the view.
To build it better, to help maximize your body's potential, consider General Nutrition Center's new Pro Performance Weight Gainer 1850, the revolutionary fat-free formula with 1,850 calories per serving. Weightlifting, bodybuilding, whatever your sport, General Nutrition's new Weight Gainer 1850 can help you pack on quality pounds fast. Pro Performance Weight Gainer 1850, exclusively at GNC, the authority in sports nutrition products.
Is that a new Ford?
Yeah, like it?
Well, what about your old one? You only had it 2 years.
We get a new car every 2 years from our Ford dealer.
How do you do that?
It's simple, with a red carpet lease through Ford Credit.
Right now, you can lease the best-selling Explorer, a 4-door XLT model with automatic luggage rack and more for less than $360 a month for 24 months with a red carpet lease through Ford Credit.
So thanks to our Ford dealer, we get a new car every 2 years.
Huh, that's about the time I'm getting new tires.
See your Houston area Ford dealer.
I got the fever. Astros ball, there's nothing sweeter.
Tuesday, August 25th, the Astros are back in the Dome to face the St. Louis Cardinals. Get your tickets in advance. Dial 6 ASTROS. That's 6 Astros.
Get into the game, all right.
Welcome back to Prime Network's coverage of the AMA National Championships. This is the Loudon Classic, and just 3 laps to go then in this Superbike round. And again, Russell having to be careful, carving his way past the tail-enders. Doesn't want to make a mistake. Andrew Detheridge there, the man who goes 1 lap down to the Muzzy Kawasaki rider. Russell then looking for maximum points in this race. Another win will add to his tally and move him towards the championship that he's looking for. The opposition a long way back. It's only mechanical disaster or a rider error that's going to put him out of victory lane in this race. Russell was leading Doug Poland by just 2 points going into this round. And with Poland a non-starter, it means that Russell will extend his lead. And with Jamie James riding so well, it means that Jamie James will move up into second place in the points table too. Russell then concentrating on the job in hand. That's just putting the final laps into the book. And it really has been a marvellous display. He's been absolutely unbeatable. 1 lap to go, the flag goes out. Russell then, just one more circuit of the New Hampshire International Speedway. A unique blend of infield racing action, high-speed banking. And Scott Russell looking for another victory. This, in fact, will be only his 2nd of the year. He won the opening round of the competition at Daytona, and taking the Muzzy Kawasaki to the checkered flag and the finishing stripe in this race here at Loudon. A big crowd, over 65,000 fans over the weekend have come here to watch the action, and they will give Russell a big cheer. The checkered flag goes out. Scott Russell then, the winner. Splendid victory. The rest of the field being flagged off. 20 points then for Russell as he heads for the title that he seeks. And some great close finishes there. Russell, though, out on his own, punches the air in celebration. Number 1, he says. Official results, Scott Russell the winner, Jamie James on the Yamaha, second Pascal Picot on the Ducati, third Freddie Spencer on the Honda in fourth place. Good win though for Russell and the Muzzy Kawasaki. Fifth over the line, Thomas Stevens on the other Muzzy Kawasaki, Tom Kipp on the Commonwealth Honda, Larry Schwarzbach on the Madsen Heinz Yamaha, and Dale Quarterly on the Team Mirage Kawasaki. Finishers in 8th place. Meantime, Scott Russell continues his lap of celebration, and he and Pascal Picot match wheelies. So the point standing now, a 20-point lead for Scott Russell after this round. Jamie James second on 65, Doug Poland down to third on 63, Pascal Picot now just 1 point behind Doug Poland. Thomas Stevens on 59, Tom Kipp on 49, Freddie Spencer 48, and Mike Smith on 47. It's getting very, very close. Well, so much for Superbike. Still to come, the 250cc class. This man grabbed pole position. Jimmy Felice, see him in action after the break.
Jimmy DeLizio, Chris DeLizio, 1991.
River Run, Shimmering Bay, Crystal Lake, Aqua Sea, Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be.
If where you want to be is where the action is, hop on a Kawasaki watercraft. Either the Jet Ski Sport Cruiser or the Tandem Sport will give you all the excitement that two of you can handle.
Now for a limited time, we're offering factory-to-dealer incentives on selected models, including the Sport Cruiser.
Hi, I'm Freddie Spencer. My job is going fast on the racetrack, but if the fastest I ever went was 65 on the interstate, I'd still be a member of the AMA. They're the ones who are out there protecting our right to ride from politicians and bureaucrats who love to tell us what to do. They also put out a magazine, sanction events, and sponsor discount programs, and there's more. Call 800-AMA-JOIN and find out all about it. Well, back to work.
Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.
They've won more road races than any production motorcycle in recent history. But taking Suzuki GSXRs off the track and putting them on the street requires certain modifications. The new Suzuki GSXR 600, now available for home use.
The Yamaha Seika 2 600. Very cool, very hot, and very, very affordable. What else is there?
Welcome back to Prime Network and New Hampshire International Speedway, the edited highlights of the 250 race. This is how they qualified. Jimmy Felice on the Honda in pole position. Next to him, Chris DeLuzio on his Yamaha. Then Rick Kirk on his Honda, and Kenny Roberts Jr. on his Yamaha, but he, of course, will not be starting. Row 2 is Robbie Peterson, Jonathan Cornwall, Colin Edwards, and Danny Walker. There they are on the grid, and away they go. A good start for Jimmy Felice. He had problems with the Honda, you will remember, at Brainerd, but he's got the bike going well here, and a lot of pushing and shoving and changing lines as we go into the first turn. Everybody safely round that corner miraculously, but everyone not so lucky on the next corner. Jimmy Felice out in front and pulling away, and then a multiple chain reaction crash as Al Salaveria, Tom Paris and Fabian Cortez all crashed out, fortunately without injury. Jimmy Felice, though, back on the pace. Dennis Torres asked him why.
What a difference a week makes. Last week in Brainerd, the #1 machine of Jim Felice, the defending AMA 250cc champion, was mired mid-pack. Jim and his bike finished 9th. Here at Loudon, it's a whole different story. The RS250 of the defending series champion has qualified on pole position for the 69th Loudon Classic. Why?
Loudon, New Hampshire is more technical, and basically you don't need the top-end speed that the Yamahas are putting out. The Honda, I think the advantage is the handling. And here is a much tighter race course, and it's better for the Hondas, I feel. The Brainerd There's long straightaways, and you need a lot more top end. And the bike is good there, but the Yamahas still have a little advantage on us. So we're struggling there, but here it's really good for us, and I think that we have the advantage.
And Felice with the advantage out in front, leading the charge, looking for victory. And behind the chasing pack, Rick Tripodi, the young Canadian, on the Aprilia, up into second place. Colin Edwards not having the best of rides. He's down the field, just ahead of number 4, Danny Walker. Rick Kirk on the Two Brothers Racing 250 Honda, also in contention and looking for points. This was the man who set the pace. The others had to try to match. Felice on the Camel Honda, on the charge, hoping to make up for the disappointments in those earlier rounds. Felice, the winner at Laguna Seca, hoping to make it the second win here. Felice always in command, never looking as though he was going to let go of the lead. Out onto the banking, and the checkered flag ready and waiting just down the road. Tripodi then, having come through from the third row of the grid, holding second place. Never looked like catching Felice, but in turn never looked like surrendering second spot. Tripodi from Ontario had a good ride here in 1991 and maintained his form this year. Felice then gets the 1 lap to go flag. Convincing performance, quickest in practice, and the fastest man out on the racetrack in the event. Felice on his final lap, up the hill for the last time, out into the country. And the little man who started his racing career as a dirt track racer, now showing that he is still a very competent and capable road racer. The man from the same town as Kenny Roberts, Modesto, California. Out onto the banking, the checkered flag is ready, already he celebrates. And he has every reason to be pleased. Out goes the linen, and Jimmy Felice makes it win number 2. There's the result, Jimmy Felice on the Honda, the winner. Tripodi on the Aprilia, second. Rick Kirk on the Honda, third, and Colin Edwards back in 4th place on his Yamaha. Well, win number 2 for Felice. So what does that do to the points? Well, Colin Edwards on 98. The injured Kenny Roberts stays second on 83. Rick Kirk on 74. Jimmy Felice now up to 58. Still a long way to go. Scott Russell then, a marvellous win in the Superbike race. Jimmy Felice, a magnificent performance in the 250s. So it's goodbye for another year from New Hampshire International Speedway. This programme has been brought to you with assistance from the Dunlop Tyre Corporation, from EBC Brakes, from the American Motorcyclist Association. This is Chris Carter signing off. On behalf of Prime Network, this has been a Synchro Sports TV production.